I'm a phenomenal athlete. I won't fall.
But we don't want
You are
anybody.
phenomenal athlete. One quick thing before you get to FSU and the Kosi questions. It says something that two of your highly rated recruits in Lorenzo and Mark Pope couldn't get on the field. It speaks to your offensive talent. With each individually, did Lorenzo not play just because DJ and Travis were running so well? And is Pope behind Wiggins and Hightower for what reason?
So I'll keep saying this every week. I think both of those guys are very talented. Not just those two guys. The entire recruiting class we had is very talented. And more of them not playing is less about how good they are, how good they're practicing, more about the guys that are in front of them. I think those guys are playing really well. I think there's lots for those guys to still be able to learn and progress into, and I think both those guys are playing fine.
With Pope, does he have to learn the playbook more? Is there anything that he could do maybe to catch up to the two freshmen who are playing?
Keep working every day. Working every day.
Thomas,
He's gonna be in good shape.
I'm sorry. What
No
are
problem.
the pros and cons coaches weigh when making the decision to change starting quarterbacks mid-season?
Pros and cons?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if it don't work out, that's a con. I think obviously just you got to be able to trust your evaluation from a coaching staff standpoint. Obviously, more attention is paid to it because it's the quarterback spot. And that guy is probably going to be the leader of your offense and possibly your entire team. And I think it can be tough at times depending on your situation. I think we're in a good spot. I think both of those guys are still ready to go play, and I think both of them are still motivated. I love Malik's mentality. He's still upbeat, has a good attitude, continue to push Nkosi. I think we'll be fine.
Can you evaluate Nkosi's play, and is it too small of a sample to really truly do that? But what do you think so far?
I mean, it's a conference game. It's a quality opponent, so I think we played a good competition. I think our defense did a phenomenal job of scoring some points. It kept us off the field. I think we only had 46 total snaps as an offense, so it's close to playing a half. I thought he played well.
Thomas, the maturity has been one of the big things Coach Richt has brought up, and Nkosi has shown that on and off the field.
Yeah.
How have you seen him grow in that way?
Well, I think it's understanding what it takes to prepare to play quarterback in our type of system at this level, from a preparation standpoint, but also being able to be locked in every single day of practice. And also, command the huddle, motivate his teammates, be vocal, and bring other guys along.
Thomas Benzel's gone from a guy who's backing up to all of a sudden starting 2 in a row. What has he brought you guys specifically that left guard spot?
That's what we hoped he'd be when he got here. Obviously evaluated him on tape before we decided to take him as a grad transfer. And he's a guy with experience, played a bunch of big-time games. So we wanted a guy to be able to come in. And we got some very talented freshmen, but they're still freshmen, still trying to come along and progress and add to the competition. I've said it the entire time, I don't care what spot we have, the more guys we have that compete, that don't back down from competition, the better we'll be.
How's he graded out in your eyes? How's it done?
I think they're really good.
On the sideline last year, what was it like watching Daryl Langham make that catch?
Well, obviously it was a big-time moment. It also shows for anybody that you're never out of it. I mean, I think he's going to play 2 snaps the entire game. And never went in the tank, had a good attitude, was focused the entire time, and made obviously one of the biggest plays in that rivalry series, at least in recent history, at least for us, to make that catch. And be able to be in that stadium and have it go from everybody screaming and yelling and them chanting like the game was over to complete silence. It's a pretty cool deal.
How much have you guys as coaches pointed that to guys? Like, Daryl hadn't played a lot. Daryl hadn't, and then all of a sudden he got his moment. How much have you used it as a teaching tool?
Yeah, I mean, last year we talked about it almost every single week. We haven't talked about it as much this year because we got to obviously move on and focus on this team and this moment, this opportunity. But I think it's a good lesson for all those guys.
Thomas, as a coach, how much pressure does it take off of you not to have to worry about a last-second catch like that?
Well, who knows? It might come down to that again. I mean, it's we got to prepare for a 60-minute war, and it's Florida State, Miami, one of the biggest rivalries in college football. I don't care. I said it last year. I don't care what the record is. I don't care how they played before. We will get their best. They will be at their best against us at our house. We got to do a good job of matching that intensity, continue to stay motivated, but also stick to our fundamentals. This game is going to be won when it comes down to doing what we do it down after down.
Thomas, coaches always preach about how they want a consistent approach every single week, no matter the opponent. How tough is that in a Florida State week to have that consistent approach?
I don't think it's tough at all. I mean, I think from a motivational standpoint, this game is going to take care of itself. We'll have some, motivational stuff as the games get closer, but you don't need that. It's Florida State, Miami. Enough is said. Just got to do a good job preparing well for them and going to execute.
You lost at the start of the year the guy everybody projected to be the number 1 receiver. Just talk about how pleased you are the way you guys, as a group, those guys have come in and kind of made up for that loss.
Well, I think that's why it's important for us to have depth and continue to recruit the best in the country to come in and compete, but not just the best talent, but guys who aren't scared of competition. They aren't afraid of, who's there, who's in front of them, guys that want to be able to come in and improve their worth, and also unselfish guys. We have a bunch of guys who, receiver-wise, who didn't catch the ball last week, but blocked their butts off, continue to do down after down. So I think the more guys we have, like I said all the time, that can help us win, the better off we'll be.
Thomas, on that same topic, you had 3 different receivers start in Amon's absence over the last 3 weeks with Hightower, Langham, Harley. Is that based purely on performance in practice during the week, or is the package you open in a factor in that?
All based off of practice and performance.
Okay.
So every week's a new week.
And
Nobody's
so-
job to say that.
And so Mike playing well doesn't necessarily transfer into meaning he's going to start Saturday. It's who does best Sunday, Monday,
Absolutely.
Tuesday.
Absolutely.
So offensive coordinators across the ACC have been asked about not wanting to see the turnover chain. You guys have to go into a game now knowing they
About
have.
wanting to see it?
No, not they don't want to see it.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
the
yeah, yeah.
offensive coordinators
Oh,
at
yeah.
other places don't want to see it.
Yeah.
They have something now. How badly do you not want to see the backpack?
I mean, I don't care if you have a turnover chain or a backpack or whatever prop is used. We also want to do a good job of not turning the ball over. That's probably the fastest way to lose a football game is by giving the ball up. So we got to do a better job than we have in the last couple weeks of holding on to the ball and also not throwing picks as well.
Mark said yesterday
question.
on QAM that Amon still needs a while. That's all he said, just a while. Are you hopeful that he's going to be back at some point this year?
Of course, I mean, but you obviously can't rush how a body comes back and responds to stuff. So we'll continue to move along until that time comes.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks.